Hi. So, I want to review two pagan magazines. And the ones I want to review are Witchcraft and Wicca. And the two issues are Beltane to Lammas, 2003, and Samhain to Imbolc, 2002-2003. So they are pretty old magazines. This is one of them. And this is the other. Now, I don't know too much about these publications. They are published by a group called the Children of Artemis, and I think they are a sort of membership magazine for their group. I found them on eBay, so I really don't know completely, but yeah, I think that's the case. So, yeah. The reason why I'm reviewing them together is that there's a limit to how much you have to say about a magazine, so to get some length out of the video, I felt it better to review both of them. So we can take Beltane to Lammas 2003 first. Now, these magazines are very family-oriented, something I didn't know when I picked them up. So, if you have children, pagan children in your family, or you are a pagan teenager, then these might be very interesting for you to get a hold of. But for me, who are not a pagan teenager any longer, and who don't plan on having children, there are a lot of material here that's not that interesting for me. But it is what it is. Now, just before I get into the meat of the magazine, there are one thing that disturbed me just a little bit. Now, I don't consider myself to be a prude, but these magazines are extremely child-oriented, and then you have an advertisement on the back that looks like this. Seriously. That woman looks like she's just about to play some sort of fantasy porno. And with the danger of sounding like a prude, I don't think that. And I don't think the camera really picks up her expression. It's very come hither. I don't think that's appropriate for a magazine that is very family oriented. Now, one thing I like about these magazines is the format. They are like a normal book, so they're basically thin books. And I find these much more handy to hold and read than the average size magazine, especially since I tend to like to read magazines when I sit on the loo. So, yes. They have many interesting articles in here, so I'll go through the list here. You have Aunt Tabata, your questions answered. That's just the regular questions and answers page that a lot of magazines have. This one, of course, is pagan themed. Witchfest, which is is an article about a huge pagan festival that's held in Europe. The Real Power of Witchcraft, which is about witchcraft's core values. They're basically some basics on witchcraft with a slant toward the morality of it. And you have one about covens. You have an article that's very interesting about Garrett Gardner. And we have an interesting article which is named Teenage Witches, Dangers of Excluding, which is basically, a lot of people are not very positive to pagan witches, and I know that when pagans... The heat is getting to me. Teenage witches. Basically, when I was a teenager, I was practicing, and I really felt that in a lot of places I just weren't welcome, or you are marginalized by saying, oh, it's just a phase, or you don't know what religious grounds you want to walk on, or you... And I say, the problem is, there are no age limit to when you start to get interested in religion. Of course, a lot of kids are experimenting, so lots of teenagers will go from this religion to that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't take teenage witches seriously for as long as they are in this religion. That's a great article. Thoughts and Feelings by Raymond Buckland. Anything he writes is of course amazing. Lucifer, the Traveling Familiar. I really wonder if that's her real name. But yeah, article about familiars. Astral Projection. Wanna guess what that's about? Witches' Rite of Passage. It's an article about ceremonies for various life stages. The Witch in Hinduism, with reference to the goddess Kali. Basically, how do you take elements of Hinduism and include it into paganism? Now, some people are against that kind of borrowing from various other religions and such. I don't have a problem with it myself. But yeah, if you're interested in that, that's an okay article. And you have the Mystical Art Gallery, which is in every issue that I've seen of this magazine, which is basically various forms of artists that show off their work. The Art of Mythology, which is basically featuring an artist. Teen membership of the Children of Artemis, again something about, well, these organizations and teens. An article about color magic. A very good one here, Sacred if Limited Space. It is basically how do you set up ritual space if you live in a dorm, if you have limited space to work with, and what if you have people in your house that are not pagan friendly. That's a great article. ABC of Witchcraft, Common Sense and Magic, basically, well, just what it says. Consecrating your crystal, which is basically how to consecrate crystals for magic. A Lover's Knot, which is very interesting. It tells you how to make a special knot, which can be used both for not magic, but also to create jewelry and decorations. That's great. Children of Artemis news, and there are book reviews. Now these are mini reviews. Let me see if I can find a few of them and show you. So yeah, it was around here somewhere. Here we are. You see, each of these columns reviews one book. So it is mini book reviews, but I found them quite interesting, and I got the major points of the book, so that's good. And then music reviews, which are exactly the same thing. Greetings, which is details about local meetings and such, but I think this magazine is from England, so it doesn't really apply to me, and it's also 10 years old, so yeah. And we have the Cyber Witch, latest news from the web, and the Witches Market, which is just buying and selling stuff. So yeah, all in all, I think that this magazine, this is Beltane to Lammas 2003, is a good magazine. The articles doesn't go very much in depth, but which magazine does. It has a nice format, it is written quite well, and yeah, I enjoyed reading it. My only real issue with both this and the other one is that has it has beautiful artwork which illustrates the various articles, but often those artworks doesn't really fit. It's like they have this pool of artwork and I just pull them out of random at times. And that can be a little bit disturbing, but otherwise than that, I don't have a problem with this magazine, except for, of course, the ad on the back. So yeah, I would give this issue a 7 out of 10. It's a good issue. And then we have the other issue I got, which is Samhain to Imbolc 2002 to 2003. It looks like this. Now it too has an ad on the back, but this ad is a lot more kid-friendly. So yes. Now, I'm not a prude. If it is a magazine for adults, people can be have various little clothes as they want. They can be as sexualized as they want. But I do think that since we, as pagans, are a group that are easy to criticize, and we are a bit, it's easy to prejudice against us, we should have to try to be as strict with ourselves as possible so that we don't give those naysayers a foothold. Anyway, in this magazine we of course also have Aunt Tabitha's mailbag. We have Witchcraft, an article on that again. Medieval musings, basically medieval festivals. Yeah, Wiccan Beginnings, which is an article with a guy named Frederick. Let me see if I can get his name right. Frederick Lammas, and his experiences with Garrett Gardner. That's interesting. We have again from Lucifer about familiars. And we have the ABC of Witchcraft, which is basically sort of like a dictionary. It's a bit of humor. They have various. Let me get an example. Oops. Sorry. I have my PC on my lap, so when I drop the magazine on it, it bumped around like crazy. I think it was 20 something that. ABC of Witchcraft, it was 21, yes. So for example, we have N is for nudity. Skyclad, we call it. No, I don't know about you, but I feel that opportunities for this are greater in California than Chelsea. Besides, I refuse to believe that my ancestors would have trekked out through the Northubrians now to take their clothes off to celebrate the summer solstice, let alone Imbolc. And don't say it's warm in the circle, I know it is. But just know how much warmer, and what about before the circle goes up and after it comes down? So yeah, it's a dictionary, but I have a little section on this each issue. And it is funnily written and it's good fun. Okay, where are we? We have an article about Maxine Sanders, which is great. And also, I can't believe how gorgeous that woman is, considering her age. I mean, she looks so young for her age, and she just looks like a movie star. So, yeah, I'm so in love with that woman. We have an article on moon magic. That's okay. We have an article on sacred body art, which I really liked. We have an article on the first steps on a Wiccan path, which is basically for beginners. Of course, again, we have the mystical art gallery. And we have Gwyn ap Nudd, which is basically a picture about Celtic legend and a bit about the artist that painted it and a bit about the legend. So it's an interesting article. We have another article about familiars. There's a lot about that in these magazines, which I like. I am very fascinated about familiars. An article about druidcraft, an article about incense for ritual and magic, which is good. One of 14 witches, which is okay, but it doesn't apply to me anymore, so I didn't read it that closely. Book and music reviews again. Astral Know-How, which is an introduction text to astral projection. It is okay, but it doesn't go into very much detail. One about divination. It's an amazing one. It talks about divination in playing cards, not tarot, but normal playing cards. And it is a great introduction to that subject. Going Public, which is about coming out of the broom closet, which is interesting, though I've never really been that much in the closet. Ika came out when I was like 11. Told my mother, "Hi mom, I'm a witch." And she said, "Oh well, so am I." Though she doesn't call herself a witch, she does practice various things, so yeah. My mother, when she started her practice and started up a shop for natural alternative medicine in our local community, she told the reporter that came, because a new shop opening up, that's a big thing in my hometown. She told that had she lived 300 years ago, she would have been burned at the stake as a witch. So yeah, she's a bit witchy too. So I'm lucky that way. Anyway, where were we? Broom closet, yes. And then we have otherworldly experiences, an article about that. One about practical magic, about making dreamstones, which is interesting. I like that divination system, and I might try to make myself a set of those stones. I think that's the best article in the magazine, and I would have bought the magazine just for that article. Children's Artemis News, greetings, and the Tarot, which has an article about the Devil card, which I really like, because that's one of those cards that are really misunderstood. And then we have Cyber Witch, Witch's Market, and the Wood Nymph, which is a poem. Now, I think this is a good magazine. I like the other one better, but all in all, and these didn't cost me very much, I bought them as a set use, I think they're a good buy. So, would I recommend these? These two issues are not amazing. They're good, but they're not amazing. So, I would say, if you can find them cheaply and you need some pagan reading, then yeah, go for them. Especially if you are a teen witch or you are a parent of a teen witch. But I wouldn't go out of my way to get them. The only thing is that article about dreamstones, which is amazing, but other than that, they're good, but they're not extremely good. So I would give this perhaps 6 out of 10. And that is my review of Witchcraft and Wicca Magazine, Samhain to Imbolc 2002 to 2003, and Beltane to Lammas 2003. And they look like this and this. So yeah, have a great day and blessed be.